welcome back everyone to Fitman Aquatics. So today I'm actually going to be doing something that I've done a lot as a profession, but I've never actually done as a hobbyist. So it's going to be a little bit of experimentation, trial and error. I'm not sure this is how well it's going to work out, but it is something that I've done a lot before with saltwater fish, which is making medicated gel. So I'm going to be using the Fritz Paracleanse and some Repashy Community Plus. Now, both of these, or some variant of Repashy and Fritz Paracleanse, you can get on Aquarium Co-op, or probably find them on Amazon too. But if you can always support those local fish stores, that helps out a lot. So, anyway, what we're going to do is we're going to use some boiling water with a bit of this, which is powdered. So let me see if I can open that up. You can hopefully see into there a little bit. Now that is, so it's a powder, so it can you mix it together with boiling water to make a gel, and then you can add in this Paracleanse. Now, one thing that I have done when I was doing this for a job was measure the temperature of how hot the gel was before adding the Paracleanse. You want to cool it off a little bit, but not to the point where it starts to get stiff. And then you add the Paracleanse. You just don't want it too hot because that can actually break down the active ingredients, which in here is metronidazole and praziquantel, the exact same stuff that is used in general cure. So you could use that too. Now, I've done this as separate gels, making metronidazole gel and praziquantel gel separately, so this will be a new experience for me. I'm not exactly sure on the dosages, which is going to take a little bit of practice. We'll see how the fish accept it, but hopefully this will be a good answer for intestinal parasites. So if you have any internal parasites, that will help. If they eat the food, it'll help get rid of them. This can help get rid of the eggs and anything external, but it doesn't do a great job with internal food like medicated gel will. Alright, so let me get all this set up and we're going to break into doing it.
Alright, so now the water's boiled and we have all our ingredients ready. Now the first thing I like to do is let the water cool off a little bit, and while the water's cooling, I'm going to be prepping the Repashy. So the important thing to remember is that it's 1 part gel to 2 to 3 parts of water. And that's just going to depend on the consistency that you're looking for. Some people want a stiffer gel, so you'll go more 2 parts. Some people might want a softer, squishier one for 3 parts. Now, I would probably use a tablespoon here, but all I had was half of a tablespoon. But again, as long as it's 1 to 2 to 3 parts, that works just fine. Now, normally I would mix this with a thermometer, but unfortunately my thermometer doesn't have batteries anymore. That's why you get an old school thermometer, so I had to use a knife. But I would recommend using a thermometer so that you can check the temperature of the gel as you are stirring it. That way you know when it's cool enough to add the medication in. Now there's no set temperature for adding the medication, but I like to wait till it's closer to that 100-degree mark and it's not as hot. Now this may take a little fine-tuning to get the consistency you want, but as long as you maintain that ratio of 1 to 2 parts of gel to water, you should be fine. Now once you have a pretty decent consistency, again, you're looking for something between brownie and cake batter. You can then go ahead and add the medication once everything's cooled off and has set a little bit. You want it to be a little firm just so you can get a decent distribution and you don't get anything splashing out of your container. Now, like I mentioned earlier, this will be a bit of a trial. This is only going to be my first attempt to see how the fish accept just one packet inside in an amount this small. But future use, you may be able to up to 2 or even more packets so that you can increase the amount of metronidazole and praziquintal that your fish are consuming and helping to get rid of those internal parasites. Now, you can see here I'm shaking it a little bit. That will just help level out the gel to make it kind of nice and smooth and easier to cut up into chunks later on. And it will give more of an equal distribution throughout the container. And once it's pretty nicely patted down and leveled out, you will see that it creates kind of a gross pudding-like product. And then that is ready to go into the fridge overnight or into the freezer for several hours to harden. I like the freezer because it makes it hard, but it also makes it easy to cut and work with whenever you need it. Plus, it'll last much longer that way. Alright, well, there you have it.
Alright, so now the gel is in the fridge. You could leave it there for a couple of hours or overnight, depending on how big your batch is going to be. Depends how long it's going to take to set. But once it is set, and might still be a little bit sticky, but you can break that up into chunks and put some of it in the freezer for future use and keep some of it in the fridge. Again, it keeps for about 2 weeks in the fridge and for several months in the freezer. So you can make big batches of just this Repashy for future use. Very helpful for breeders to give fish lots of food. But it doesn't have to be paraclines. It can be other types of medication, but generally parasites are going to be the only internal thing, so that's the one you have to worry about. Again, there are other options of Repashy that you can use depending on which fish you're trying to feed, so there may be a better option for you, but they're all gel-based, so it's easy to make medicated gel with. I think that's all I have for you guys today. I hope that helps. I'll let you guys know probably in some future live stream what the results of this test were. Or if you're seeing this in the future, you can leave a comment down below and I'll be happy to tell you whether the fish accepted it or whether it helped at all. Any details that I can provide. But if you like this video, it'll help me a lot. And if you're not already subscribed, but you find this information very helpful to you, you can always subscribe to my page. But otherwise, I think that'll about do it for this week. Next Sunday will be a video on filtration and heaters in the aquarium. So stay tuned for that live stream. And we will be wrapping up that Aquarium 101 probably in another week or two. Alright, until next time, take care.